Welcome to Gulfstream today. Beautiful Gulfstream Park. Ron Nicoletti along with Acacia Courtney. And I don't know what the weather is like around the country, but it is absolutely stunning here today.
It is a little bit cooler today in comparison to yesterday, so really comfortable outside, but still bright and sunny. So we get a little bit of a break enjoying this now before those summer months really start heating up a little bit. But perfect weather here today.
Fast-made track firm turf course, and this being Friday, we have a 9-race card, and as you can see, we have a new post time of 12:55 this afternoon. But it is still Beat the Expert Day, and Acacia is up, and you got to try and beat her. So what do you have? 60 minutes to get your selections in.
Yes, exactly 60 minutes right now. You have to have your picks in by first post, which today is 12:55 p.m. I am up today. Go to our Facebook page / Gulfstream Park and use hashtag Beat the Expert. Let us know that you're playing. If you pick more winners than me, Ron, you could have a chance to win one of those great polo shirts. And we were joking about it. I think last time I was the expert, I had 5 winners on the card and still had somebody that beat me. So good luck if you're playing. It's been a lot of fun, and we look forward to doing it again like we do every week.
And as I always mention, it says Beat the Expert right on the sleeve, so you can walk around here and show off when you beat one of us up here. So let's go through today's wagering menu. We're going to start it with our first of 2 pick fives in race number 1. And then we have the super high five in both race number 2 and race number 9 this afternoon. So races 2 and 9, we have the rolling super high five. The Rainbow 6 starts in race number 4 today, and we do have a carryover of over $8,500, and I'll be showing you my ticket when we get to that 4th race. And of course, we end the day with our final pick 5 of the afternoon, and Acacia will have another ticket there. So with all the early business taken care of right now, we will get into the first race and on a Friday afternoon, and it's a 5-furlong turf event. As I mentioned at the top, the turf course is firm. Claimers, fillies and mares, 4-year-olds and up, non-winners of 2 races in life for 4-year-olds, and they run for that claiming price of $30,000 down to $25,000. And as we said, Acacia has our first of 2 pick 5 tickets right here.
I do. I'll give you a look at my ticket. No single in the early pick 5. I do have a single in the late pick 5, but what will be $54 for me. We have a very heavy favorite to start things off with, the 1 Blue Bahia, who I absolutely believe is the horse to beat, but using a couple other horses a little bit protectively in the first leg. So 3 by 2, 2, and then 3 and 3, again at $54.
Yeah, I like that theory in the first leg of the Rainbow, in the, of the pick 5, because if you can beat that big favorite, you're going to get a really nice payoff. So always good. I mean, even though a horse looks really good on paper, up there right now at 3 to 5, that is Blue Bahia. And, you know, moved to the Marat Sankal barn after that claim, departs from rail, and really was set those blistering fractions last time out.
She did, and we'll go back and show that last race. This was when she was beaten by just 3/4 of a length behind Port McGee, and you'll see she's the number 4 here this day, and she showed some speed. You can see Paco Lopez actually had a pretty tight hold on her if we're just looking at the 4 right there as they come around the turn. And in the stretch, she did kind of drift a little bit off of the rail. She is going this way a little bit. But Port McGee, who's the number 5 on the outside there, she was closing very strong. Still thought it was game from Blue Bahia, but again, she set fast fractions. As you said, she was dueling with another horse in the stretch. It really did set up for that nice horse to close outside.
And I don't think she's going to get that same pace scenario on the front end this afternoon. I think if she can go out and those fractions last time, 20 and 4 and 43 and 3, I don't know if she has to run that fast today with a 6-horse field. So I just think she's got a a tactical advantage in the opener. Now you went with the number 6 horse in second, and that is Admiral's Win. I have that one further down on the card.
Trying to look for some other prices, as we were mentioning, for that first leg of the pick 5. And the thing with Blue Bahia, she is now first off the claim, going from the barn of Jason Service. Emisael Jaramillo had a great day yesterday with 3 wins, I believe. But the barn were from Marat Sankal, first off the claim on the turf. They are just 0 for 7. So I was looking at horses that maybe might get overlooked in the wagering. Thought Admiral's Win might be one of those. And last time out, she did actually have to steady early. It almost looked like she didn't really want to go between horses. Normally, she is more forwardly placed. She was forward and then had to really take back sharply last time. So we'll give her a little bit of a try in here. I did think there was some other speed, but Blue Bahia just might be fastest.
And, you know, with the horse being in 3 to 5 in the morning line, I'm talking about Blue Bahia, this horse getting in at 15 to 1. So certainly if you can get a horse like this to start off your pick 5, you'll be doing good. The horse that I used in second and used further down was Sound Defense. Is back in South Florida. She ended her campaign at the fairgrounds with a front-running score against $30,000 condition claimers going 5.5 furlongs. But I think her ability to stalk the pace can be her biggest asset in here today. So if someone goes up and looks Blue Bahia in the eye again like they did last time, maybe it sets up for a horse like the 5 Sound Defense.
It certainly could. She could be stalking from off of the pace. I thought that the 2 Indominus, who does have some speed to her, now second off the claim for Steve Glasaris, I think she's versatile enough that she doesn't need the lead. She doesn't need to be on the front end and can do exactly that and stalk the pace a bit.
So it looks like if you catch Blue Bahia, you win the opening race today. If not, she will win the opening race. At least that's the way it looks to us. Second race this afternoon, 1 mile maiden claim is fillies and mares, 3-year-olds and up, $12,500. And we're going to have 7 in the field. There's no scratches or jockey changes in here. And I'll start it off in here with the 2, the blonde, I believe is 8 to 1 or something like that on the morning line, stretching out to a mile after bumping at the start and rallying 4 wide to finish 4th. Against similar, that was going 3/4 of a mile. But I want to show you a stat on Victor Barboza Jr., who's just been doing great work. Sprint to a route on the dirt. He's 7 for 24, 29%. He's 67% in the money with the $1.80 ROI, and that was over the last 5 years. So with that stat, the price, the blonde, I put it on top of my ticket. Would I single this horse? No, but I think this one has a shot. Now, I don't know if I'm going to get that 8 to 1 this afternoon.
Probably not. And that stat, that's a good stat to look at. It actually does apply to both of his runners in here. He also has the 3 Vicky Queen, who I didn't use. But the blonde, I've tried to get this horse home a couple times now. So
I wonder why.
Well, it gives maybe a little bit of a hunch bet there. But now stretching out in distance, maybe she'll show a little bit more speed, because that just looks to be her problem. She's kind of just a little bit lackluster out of the gate early on in the race and then doesn't really get into it. So maybe now on the stretch out in distance, she will be more forwardly placed. I just wanted to see one from her, and I did go with something I normally don't do, and that's a long time maiden. Over 16 is the 6 Adios Chick, but I just thought she'd be the main speed in here. As I said, on the stretch out, maybe the blonde will show some more, but I thought Adios Chick with apprentice Nikki Figueroa in the saddle, just one that's been consistently running at this mile distance.
Yes, certainly not your MO in here.
No.
16 starts with no wins and just those 2 second-place finishes. The reasoning I backed this off this horse and put the blonde on top of the ticket, if the 6 wins, you know, I wouldn't leave it off the ticket, as I mentioned. I went with the 1 1/3. What's Your Dream? They're going to go from the rail today after rallying 5 wide. He finished 3rd at this level in distance. Here's a horse I think can suck up and grab a share in this particular field.
Maybe it could be. I wonder, this horse, they've tried her on the turf, on the dirt, short, long, and this one's a long-time maiden as well, so wondering where the preferred spot would be. But I did have interest with the number 7, Pretty Venezuela, who is first off the claim for Angel Quiroz, and she had a couple of okay races. The last one wasn't pretty, but the 1-2 starts back I thought was pretty strong, going the mile on the dirt. And first off the claim for this barn in the past year is just 2 for 13, and those were with horses that were already in good form in Bama Bound and Ravello's Boy, but has had some sharp claims, and Jorge Ruiz has been doing a good job as well.
Yeah, Jorge Ruiz riding very well, so I'm going with the blonde in the 3rd race. The second race, excuse me. I'm already ahead of myself. So
so excited about the 3rd race.
The 3rd race, 1 mile on the turf, claim is fillies, 3-year-olds. This one has a jockey change and a couple of scratches. The jockey change comes on the 3. Make that rider Luca Panici, and also scratch the 5 Flying Dude and the main track only number 8 Grand Weekend. And we both went with a horse in here on top of Ventina.
And this one is dropping in class, and I think that's probably a big reason. She will take a lot of money because of that, and she does look like the logical one on paper. She's had some pretty good races, even being beaten 3.5 lengths last time by Queen de Valet, who's just a horse that's been in exceptional form and just wins everywhere she goes. And that was against 25,000 starter optional claiming company. So now she drops in for the open $16,000 tag. Tyler Gaffalione in the saddle. She just looks like she's the class.
Yeah, and I mean, that was a tough 25 optional claimer last time out. Now, the horse we both used in second, Testaruda, is going to depart from the rail today.
She is, and she comes out of the same race as Patrona, and we'll go back and show that race. And what I wanted to highlight was kind of the difference in their running style. So we're looking at the number 5 and the number 3 out of the break, and we'll let it roll there, and then we can just freeze it right there if possible. And so what we want to see, if we can freeze it, is the number 3 in the back there that is showing the speed, and then we have the number 5 up here, excuse me, the 5 Testaruda showing speed, and the 3 Patrona is trailing the field. And now we can let it roll a bit. That's what I just wanted to highlight, is the difference in running styles. Now you can see Testaruda still out on the front end, the number 5. But then here comes Patrona closing along the rail. Patrona was taking a huge drop in class, actually, from stakes competition. So that's what I think is interesting about this race. And now you can watch the two of them. It actually looked like Testaruda was home free, but she did do a lot of the dirty work on the front end. We did see Patrona ending up getting the best of her that day.
And talking about the rider, Jorge Ruiz in the free, I thought that was a really nice ride. He timed it perfectly. Testaruda, you saw her over there, got beat that neck at this level and distance. Carlos Montalvo will be in the saddle. I thought those were the logical two underneath this. And you closed it out with the number 3 in here, the horse that's going to be ridden by Luca Panici.
This one second off the claim for Sandra Slivka Alsterone. Kind of an interesting horse that took a big drop in class to win by 17 lengths when with Eddie Keneally. Somebody did bite for the claim 2 starts back, and she's trying the turf today. A little bit of interest there. The only sibling that did win, the only turf starts that they had. So a little bit of interesting turf on the bottom side. So we'll see if the surface switch helps.
Well, let's take a short break, and when we come back, I'll show you my Rainbow 6 ticket on this beautiful Friday afternoon.
At ExpressBet, we celebrate the champions that make horse racing great. That's why we provide more ways to bet from more places than ever. We've built an entire family of brands to give players more of the rewards they deserve, give bettors the information they need to win, and provide a community for horse bettors. Because the best way to support the champions of horse racing is to champion horse racing. ExpressBet, we are racing.
Welcome back to Gulfstream today. Ron and Acacia, our 4th race this afternoon. 5 furlongs on the turf. Turf course is firm. Claimers 4 and up. $12,500. Scratch the one horse in here, Wild Magnolia, and this is where the Rainbow 6 starts today, and I want to show you my ticket right now. And $28.80. I got a single in race 8 today. Looks like the lone speed to me. You see the progression went a little deeper in race 9. I really like the 3 horse in there. We'll talk about that later on, but that was my ticket today. So $28.80, and that we mentioned at the top of the show here, 8,500 plus in that pool this afternoon. And I think I got the logical 2 in here with the number 6, Little Baker, and the number 3, Morning Brew. I started with Little Baker, dropping to the 12.5 level. He followed at 16, claiming score with a stalk and fade. That was a 7th place finish, but it was a well-graded 25 optional claimer at the distance. It's Ralph Zadie, unites the gelding with MSCL Jaramillo, who's aboard for that victory 2 starts back. And I just thought, you know, this was the logical one, but you see, I also put the 3, Morning Brew, on my ticket.
I do think you have the logical 2 as well. And that race last time out, as you mentioned, it was a very strong race. We saw it was actually pretty close between the second finishers on, because Starship Thor just won by more than 3 lengths that day, and then it was pretty tight behind him. We did see Blings Express, the second place finisher, come back to win after that, another Zadie horse. And if you look just number-wise on the Beyer speed figures that this horse has been running, especially that win 2 starts back getting an 82, he does look like he's coming in very strong in here. So I like him on the class drop for sure, but Morning Brew is definitely a horse to respect, and we'll go back and show his last race because he did have some trouble. You see it in the running lines a little bit, and we're going to start with the head-on of the break, and you can see he's the number 8 there. Now he breaks out, and then there you just see it, he took a little bit of a trip right there, and then he ends up kind of getting cut off and parked wide in there. Now we're going to look at the head-on of the stretch, and he has a red shadow roll and the yellow and green silks, so he's right there in between horses, and just ends up getting knocked a couple times by a couple other horses drifting out into him. So he's got some trouble going on here as he's stuck in between horses, and then they get to the wire. Unfortunately, he just didn't have a really comfortable trip at all.
No, he got bopped around pretty good in the stretch run there. I want to show you a stat on Monty Thomas with the number 3 Morning Brew on Monty Thomas over the last 5 years in turf sprints, all claimings at Gulfstream Park. He's 6 for 44, 14%, 30% in the money, but he shows a positive return of investment over that 5-year span. So Monty Thomas, excellent job. And I always like his horses that run in these turf sprints. I think he does an excellent job with them. So Morning Brew on my ticket.
I totally agree with you. And I've actually been trying to get this horse home for his last couple of starts. I thought he ran huge 2 starts back, just beaten by 3/4 of a length against tougher competition. He's a really good-looking horse that I think does have a big shot in here.
Well, Force Motion is another one, I think, eligible to take a step forward. He finished in the dead heat before behind Starship Wildcat at that $16,000 level.
And Starship Wildcat's been in excellent form lately. He came back to win by open lengths again with an 87 Beyer speed figure. And Force Motion, he's a pretty solid runner. He's actually won against tougher competition at Gulfstream Park West, even tried stakes competition. So I do think that he's one to respect. He's just maybe a little bit pace dependent that he does like to close from off of it.
Well, let's go to race 5 this afternoon. This is where we start our final pick 5 of the afternoon. It is a 6-furlong maiden claiming event for 3-year-olds, $35,000. 6 in the field to start off our final pick 5 of the afternoon.
And I have a single as well. We'll give you a look at my ticket, and it is naturally not the same one as yours, Ron. I'll single in the 6th race with Snicker for Mark Cassidy. That just looks to be the horse to beat coming out of some pretty strong races. Then 3 deep in the 7th. I'm using 2 horses in the 8th. That is a very short field now, but I'll back myself a little bit using Arella Princess and Quality Lady, and then spreading using 5 horses in the finale, just keeping it affordable, $45.
Not my 3 in the 9th race that I was saying I liked.
Well,
we'll see how it plays out.
That's usually how it
We got
happens,
a bet going on now. 5th race, as I mentioned, I started it off with the one, Legacy Azteca, one of the horses you did use on your ticket. Breaks from the rail again. He opened that 3.5 length lead before drifting and finishing second at this distance. It's Saffie Joseph Jr., Tyler Gaffalione named to ride, 2 of the top stars here in the spring-summer meet. So I just gave Legacy Azteca one more shot on there. But, you know, we just have our exacta flip-flop.
Well, I used him, but I picked Legacy Azteca last time, and when he finished second, I said, okay, I'm not picking Legacy Azteca anymore. So he could win, but he will do it without me on top today. This is a horse I've just been chasing for a bit, and he's certainly a solid runner, just unfortunately kind of drifted last time out and just looked like he just didn't want to win. So that's why I passed on him for the top spot anyway today. As I said, he certainly could win. But I did land on the number 2, King Hood. Second off the layoff. It was about a 6-month break between the debut race and the next race. Last time out, it was against $16,000 maiden, so a little bit of a step up. But again, it was his first race off of a layoff, and he was pretty sharp out of the gate, and it was a big class dropper that did end up winning.
Well, you know, he's a son of proud citizen, and I think he reaps the spoils if that top choice Legacy Azteca does another, you know, fails to negotiate the distance again. So a logical choice. I think you need those 2 on your ticket. And we both used the 3 Golden Cantharos in 3rd. He's going to wear blinkers today. He recovered from some trouble at the start. He broke in with, finished 3rd behind Legacy Azteca in that particular race.
And the brake does look to be his problem in his last couple of starts. So maybe the blinkers on will help him to get out a little bit sharper. And then for the Superfecta, I threw on a first-time starter for Antonio Sano, the number 4 Dardo with Edgar Zayas.
Yeah, actually second choice on the morning line. I threw him in fourth there too. So if you have a chance to spread and you want to add that horse, you take a look. Antonio Sano, of course, doing a great job all year long. Our 6th race this afternoon, 1 mile on the turf, maiden special weight, 3-year-olds. We do have a scratch in here of number 3, Cruz Diaz, and just the horse you singled. We both have it on top, and that is the 2, Snicker.
And he comes out of a 9-furlong race where he was beaten just by a neck when he showed speed the whole way. And we'll go back and show that race, just picking it up at the quarter pole and showing the end of the race, because as I said, it is a 9-furlong race. And he's the number 2 that day up on the front end. He's got some speed. And now you can see it's just a very compact field. Everybody's kind of bunching up a bit. It looks like he's going to be able to move away from the rest. And then as they are getting closer and closer to the wire, we can see the number 1 on the inside. He's going to end up trying to get a bid on the rail. And then the winner on the outside, who does end up, Beale Street Dancer, Carbon Data was the one on the inside. So he kind of gets horses on either side of him as he gets to the wire. Again, showing speed the entire way for the 9 furlongs.
Well, the horse I originally had in second was the horse that scratched out of here, Cruz Diaz, but moved up number 4, Gemologist there, who's wheels back in 6 days, makes his 8th start of the year after setting the pace. Boy, and just got caught at the wire. That was in the $100,000 Cutler Bay, and that was just 6 days ago. And this horse does not miss many dances, and I thought that was an exceptional performance last time out in the stakes race.
I thought he might win when they got away with those slow fractions on the front end. He was 87-1. Dover Cliffs, who did end up winning, was just too classy for Christophe Clement and did end up just powering on by that horse. But Gemologister had been sprinting, stretched out last time out, showed a lot of speed. And I think off of that performance, you do have to use him. He is beautifully bred, as we've been saying, for all of his 19 starts. And unfortunately, just a long time maiden. But I think off of that race, you have to take another look.
You know, the 5 Diamond Square, who you have in third, this is, as you mentioned a little earlier, here's a horse I kept picking. Given up on him today and don't have him on the ticket, so run to the window and bet him. But Diamond Square from the Patrick Biancone barn.
And he's trying the turf for the first time, so that is, of course, the questions in here. He's nicely bred, not too much turf pedigree on the bottom side, but he's by Square Eddie. And looking at the barn, first time on the turf and maiden special weight, it is 29% wins, 62% of the time in the money, and an ROI of more than $3. So that's why I did end up using this horse in the top 3.
Yeah, and I threw in the 6th flag off as it was stretching out to a mile, promising second in his $40,000 debut at 7.5 furlongs. Ran really nice in his first start, so I don't see why, you know, especially with the scratch of the 3, I was sort of liked in here. I think this horse has a chance to grab a share, and if things work out right, maybe beat a horse like Snicker. So I just threw him on the ticket in there. I don't know what's in the morning line is going to change. He was actually 3rd choice on the morning line, but we got that scratch in there, as I mentioned. So that is how we see race number 6 this afternoon. Love this next race, the 7th race. It's a 6 furlong starter optional claimer. 3-year-olds who started for $50,000 or less, or the optional claiming price of $50,000. We do have a scratch in here of number 2, Hodor, and lots of different ways to go in here. And of course, when I say that, I look up and I see that we both picked the 1 Woodrow, who's a change barn now in the Ralph Nix barn.
And I do think that this is a horse you have to respect. He debuted with Todd Pletcher. He ran away from the rest of the field. Very impressive in his debut. He was claimed, moved into the barn of Harry Benson last time, and actually tried stakes competition in the Just One More. And I remember seeing him before that stake. There were actually some pretty strong horses in there. It was really game between the top 2. He did end up being eased in there. He got really hot before the race. So that's something I'll be interested to take a look at today. But I think he's got some speed to him. I think he's properly spotted today. And he's a very good-looking horse. He's got a lot of good size to him. So hopefully he's able to settle and not get too worked up before the race.
Yeah, well, I want to show you a stat on Ralph Nix. Ralph Nix, over the last 5 years, first start after a trainer change, 31 to 60 day layoff on the dirt. He's 4 for 12. 33%, 50% in the money, and he's got $1.63 return of investment. And I just thought with Woodrow, it was really that, as you just mentioned, that interesting two-race campaign. You know, wins for fun first out, ease second time out, and you know, changing barns. I'm expecting him to run well in here. We both used the 3 in some money in second. It's another from trainer Ralph Nix, so maybe we get an all Nix exactor in here. This one turning back to 3/4 of a mile. He stalked the pace. He faded to finish 4th behind a repeat stakes winner called Mo Cash. Mo Cash went up to Tampa and won one of those $100,000 Florida bred stakes just there. This was in the 7 furlong, 60,000 American Fabius last time out. Carlos Hernandez, the apprentice, in the saddle today. So keeping some good company.
He is indeed, and as you said, Mo Cash is actually a horse that I think there have been a lot of questions about, and he's just been spotted in the right places and being able to get those wins and get a couple of wins, of course, the American Fabius and then the stake at Tampa. So looking for maybe a Ralph Nix exacta in here. The only other horse I thought might be interesting was the 6 Sal's Jet, who last time out, he was at this level of competition, but I don't think this is perhaps as strong a field as it was last time out. And he was a big upset winner 2 starts back, getting the win against a really tough maiden $50,000 level.
You're throwing out the 4, Nick the Card Shark? I didn't know what to do with this horse, to tell you. He's going to get tested for class this afternoon. He steps up to competition. He broke from a tough outside post 12, and he totally dominated a field of $25,000 maidens. He drew off to win his career debut by almost 6 lengths. It's a jump up in class, but I was just sort of enamored with that performance, you know, being from post 12, so I threw him on my Rainbow 6 ticket for that reason.
The only thing was with the barn with maiden winners last time out in dirt sprints, it is 0 for 9, so you'd kind of wonder, where did that explosive performance come from? He was a big price that day. He actually took down the Rainbow 6 with him, so I remember he was just running away from the rest of the field and nobody could catch him. Maybe that's what'll happen again today. I just wanted to see him have one race against winners.
And he's a card shark, so there you go. Race number 8 this afternoon, 1 mile allowance optional claimer. Fillies and mares 4 and up of the optional claiming price of $25,000. I had 2 horses right on top in this race, and that was the 3, My Life for You, and the 5, Crowning Affair, and they both were scratched, so we had to go back and rework this. And remember, this is the horse I singled in here, the 3, Quality Lady, stepping up, stretching out, using her tactical speed to defeat a field of 12-5 state-bred optional claimers going 3/4 a mile. She looks like the speed of the speed to me in here.
She really could be on the stretch out. I think that Rock Solid Lady has some speed to her as well, but it looks like her preferred surface is actually a sloppy track. So I still had some questions about her. But Quality Lady, I had a couple of reservations about her. She was really rank a couple starts back, and then she had just kind of stumbled coming out of the gate as well, so she's had some trouble just having a clean early part of the trip. Now, if she does get out cleanly and have a race like she did last time out, she actually had a really long sustained stretch drive last time out. I thought it was a good performance for her to get the win. On the stretch out in distance to the mile, she could be the main speed, but we'll see how she ends up just getting an early part of the trip.
Well, you mentioned the 6, Rock Solid Lady, who showed speed going a mile on that sloppy track 2 starts back, is hoping to get away from the gate today in a timely fashion. Hopped at the start last time out and got forced to sit behind the pace. I sort of think that she was aided by the off-track 2 starts back, and that's why I was able to, in my mind, single the 3, Quality Lady. And now you mentioned the 1, Arella Princess. This is the one that scares me a little bit. You go back 3rd at this distance in the claiming crown, the Golden Slipper, I believe it was called, or the Glass Slipper.
Glass Slipper, yes, in the Glass Slipper. She was beaten just a length in there. It is Mike Maker, and that's what I'm going off of. She's a 5-year-old mare. She is just 3 for 22 on form, but she has shown her class in some tougher competition. You mentioned the Glass Slipper. Tormenta d'Oro was an upset winner of that race, but she was incredibly game, and she was just running with some really nice, classy fillies and mares in there. So that's kind of the race that I'm going off of at the mile distance.
Yeah, and you know, the last 2 sprints, not good looking at all, but you know, if it jumps up and win, I would not be surprised one bit in there, because you mentioned the connections, Mike Maker. So the 9th race this afternoon, 5 furlongs on the turf, maiden claimers, fillies and mares 3 and up, $40,000 down to $35,000. field of 7, no scratches or jockey changes in here, and you went with the number 5 horse in here. Horse I did not use on my ticket. We're thinking totally not alike in here.
I guess not. We're a little bit all over the place. And you mentioned I think it was the 3 you were saying that I did not use on my ticket. So that's why I did end up spreading in this race. So maybe I might have even needed to use a couple of more horses. But the 5 Engraved I really like. If you go back to this horse's performance 2 starts back, that was the last time that she ran against 5 furlong types on the turf. And that was actually against the boys in a tough maiden special weight. So Kathleen O'Connell did think enough of her. She showed a lot of speed in her 2 races on the turf in maiden special weight. Last time out, she really didn't. She was incredibly wide in that race. I think she's got speed to her. I like the turn back in distance, and more than anything, I really like the drop in class.
Well, the 4 I'm Curious Lady, who we both do have on the ticket here, is dropping to the 40 level, stalked the pace. Gave way late when finishing 4th against maiden special weight competition. Timmy Hills is the trainer. Got apprentice Nikki Figueroa in the saddle this afternoon. And I really did think this was the logical one in here. But the reason I was mentioning the 3, that's my long shot today. That's why I was mentioning 15-1 on the morning line. Fiore, ridden by Tyler Gaffleone. Good barn and getting blinkers today. So that was my guess horse in the final race.
And in a race like this, you absolutely could have some sort of guess horse. I did use the other Victor Barbosa horse, which was the 2 Flying Queen, who did actually go off as the favorite last time out, but got really shuffled back along the rail. Didn't have an easy trip. She cuts back in distance as well, too. And I thought that her race 2 starts back, which actually was a pretty tough for level race. We saw Irish Fix, who added the blinkers on and then just ran away from the rest of the field that day. She had some trouble in there as well, so hopefully gets a clean trip today.
Yeah, and you know, the Fear No Evil outfitted with blinkers today from the Tom Albatrani barn with Edgar Prado. So a really good betting race in race number 9. So good luck with your selections here on Friday afternoon, and we'll be back. And don't forget, you have, let's say, 30 minutes to play Beat the Expert, and it's Casey's turn to try and not make you beat her.
Let's hope.
We have to take care of these horses that, give us so much joy.
Being accredited